Okay, I open the meeting, call it to order. Approval of the agenda, do I have a motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, we have two people for council. Justin's position, I believe. Josh. Sorry, Justin.
I'm there yet.
I know. I wasn't thinking that.
I'll get it.
No, you gotta leave the door open.
Can't close it.
What do we do about the kids?
Tell them to shut up. That's what I do. Tell them to be quiet.
Okay, Jane, I believe you were here to be a council person. Give us 2 minutes as to why we should put you on as a council person for the election.
Well, if I'd known I was going to make a presentation, I would have dressed better, but the basic reason is I've got the time, I've got the energy, I've got the interest, and I'm very anxious to do the job. As you may or may not know, politics has been part of my career forever, it seems, and I just think it's a very productive thing to do, and hopefully I can help with issues that people in Auburn have, and help develop policy that would assist us in economic development. I know a lot of programs. I know a lot of organizational structures, and hopefully I can be of assistance that way. That's really why I want to do it.
Okay. Larry, why would you like to be on the council?
I was asked, first of all. Secondly, I've done it before. I've been in city administration, so still know what's going on around. Keep track of a few things, so I think I can do a good job. It's limited time offered. 1 year, I understand. It's about the. I can give that year.
Okay. So, council, do I have a motion?
We need to have a discussion. Everybody talk about it first.
Okay.
Well, I have to recuse myself from the discussion because obviously Jane's a relative,
Definitely.
so I'm not involved with that. I have to just witness it.
Abstain, yes.
Of course, I was the one that asked Larry to step up to the plate, so I think he did a good job when he was on before, and I think he could bring us a lot of insight for the next year.
Okay.
I've talked to Jane several times in the past, and I agree she has a lot to offer for the town with the, like she said, the economic development, things like that. And I think that's something that we really need and need to look into, especially with our property that we have up there and things like that. Maybe we can get some assets as far as that goes.
And then what happens when the election takes place next month? Then we have to.
Then she's not electable next month, then she's already got a seat.
But the auditor has already cleared that. I made sure the protocol, there wasn't any conflict in the protocol, and they'll simply put some sort of insignia over my name on the ballot that I've been appointed, or probably some sort of appointment information that I've been appointed, and so I won't be in the election. I'll be removed from the election because I'm appointed.
Okay.
Oh, this has been a very difficult thing for me. Right after the last council meeting, and and I brought in John. Okay, I was the one that, even though the minutes said you did, I made the motion. Okay, after that meeting, Jane come to me and was interested in this. We talked about it, and I said I would support her at that time. And other things happened that I did not wish to say. And then Larry was appointed, and I like both of them. and I've really had a tough, I have a hard time. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. I just,
Can I add to that, Linda? It's just, if I may, I went to Cindy and said, I'm really interested in this position. That was before the filing deadline for the candidacy. And based on advice I gathered elsewhere, in case an assurance that I should go ahead and file a candidacy form and make sure that that's all in place, because I didn't want to take anything for granted. So that's why I filed for candidacy, because I was hoping to get this position, but in case I didn't, I had filed for candidacy. I'm very interested, and I take it very seriously. I'm very interested in a council position. But that's why the sequence of events happened the way they did.
Okay, Nancy, would you clarify what your information was according to what we are allowed to do?
First of all, John has done the proper thing by declaring his conflict and abstaining from this decision. The other advice that I received, and I have not talked to the auditor's office, I am not aware that there's a provision after the deadline. There's a deadline once you put your nomination papers in, at which point you can withdraw them. However, that deadline is passed, and I'm not aware that there's a provision from having your name removed from the ballot. I can't argue that, and I'm not going to argue that, but I do believe that her name is going to appear on the ballot. They may cross it off, they may do something, but her name will appear on the ballot in some way. In consultation with the city attorney, he just wanted to caution the council about appointing someone who is on the ballot, as it could become a very wasteful appointment, because if you appoint a person who's on the ballot who gets elected 3 weeks from now, we're right back where we started. She's going to have to resign one position or the other, and we're right back where we started. So that's, I guess, what I can
I would
input
serve
to
for a
this.
year and then, correct? I mean, when you
At
say
that
Well,
point,
no,
if
I
she was
think-
elected, can she not say that I won't accept that election, and then we take the next two at that point then? That would be my understanding, I guess.
if we appointed her tonight, she would fulfill Josh's 1 year. Then there would be an election, right, Nancy?
We have one coming
Right,
up in a
right.
couple weeks.
Yeah, but that
No.
wouldn't apply to Josh's position.
Right.
It's a 13-month position at
Yeah.
this point.
So if she was voted in, then she would have to resign Josh's position, and then we'd be right back again, right?
Or that she could
She
have
would have to
been
resign
Yeah,
one or
she
the
would
other.
resign and then take the other position.
Choice to resign one or the other, I think.
Right, so if she decided to resign the newest election, then we could take the next two vote getters. I would assume
If
that.
I was appointed tonight, I would immediately call the auditor tomorrow and tell them to strike my name from the ballot, is the exact language. You strike the name from the ballot. The name will appear, but it'll have an X through it or something. So there's no option for me. This was what I wanted. And I only applied for the candidacy because I wasn't sure what would happen, if you'd have a special election for this or not. I didn't know. So my intention is, if I get the appointment, I will serve the 13 months and run again at the next regularly scheduled election. So there wouldn't be back where we started from, kind of thing. And I would have my name somehow struck, I think is how they call it, struck from the ballot.
Okay. So council, have any other questions?
And Larry, you're really interested in this position, right?
Do I have a motion to appoint either or?
I'll make a motion to appoint Jane Bartle for the vacant seat.
Do I have a second? All right, that motion will be removed from the table. Do I have a motion to select Larry to be the next candidate?
I'll make a motion for Larry Stewart.
Do I have a second?
And I'm the deciding factor, aren't I?
While we're thinking, Nancy, is it true, given the fact of when Josh resigned, that we would actually have until next month to appoint somebody, wouldn't we?
No. We have 40 days.
Okay.
And the 40 days will be up before our next council meeting.
What's the official date when he resigned?
The 19th.
What happens if we can't come to a consensus? If we can't get a second on either motion?
Then we probably have to have a special election.
I think that you have to appoint someone until a special election can be held. I think. I'm not 1,000,000% sure on that question, but basically you guys gotta sit here and argue about it till you figure it out.
And I think both candidates would be very, very good. And I know Larry's good, and I know with Jane's experience, she would be good.
And as you're thinking this, Jane does still have one opportunity because she is on the ballot.
She is on the ballot. She can be elected by the people.
Nancy, we don't know what our options are. I mean, you just said, I'm not clear if this is an option or that. Should we get clarification what our options are before we move ahead, not mindful of what our options are?
I think you're at a point where you've got to stay by this 40 days. You've got to appoint someone in 40 days.
I'm agreement with you, but we're still within the 40-day period. And I'm just going on what you just said, that I'm not sure if
here's the other thing that should the voters or the people in the city not like who gets appointed tonight, they have the opportunity to petition the council to schedule a regular election at the next available date to schedule an election. So that is another option if they don't like who you appoint. However, you guys need to know that every time we have an election, it costs the taxpayers of the city somewhere around $1,000. So you're also considering taxpayer money as you're going through this. And we are talking about 13 months, and there's a big election in 3 weeks, you know.
it's just nice to know what our options are. Exactly
It's
what our
my
options
understanding your options are that you've advertised, published the date to do this, and this is the date you need to do it.
are. Okay.
Because otherwise we need to republish, and there isn't time to republish, and that's my
You
understanding.
mean within the 40-day period?
Right.
So 30 days. I'm doing the math. I'm not very good at math.
What's the
What's the
date
40?
of
What's the
40th
official? The
day?
40th day falls on what?
Today's the 11th, or the 13th.
It'd be 19th would be a month. Would
30
be,
days.
yeah, about 30 days.
14,
So the
14, 21, 22, 23, 24, we're sitting on day 24.
we have 60 more days if we had to.
Which will bring us into November 1st.
Then we're still going to be right back in the same boat.
Well, you have a special election, and then a couple days later, a regular election.
Like,
Jane, is there an option that you would wait until the election to see what the voters went? I'm just asking, I'm not trying to change your vote or anything.
No. I would just reiterate what I said initially, and that was the whole reason I'm on the candidacy ballot for this November 8th is because I want to be on the council, and I would love to have this spot on the council. I'd love for that 13-month period of being able to learn, listen, get up to speed, and hopefully I can contribute. I'm very confident I can contribute. The fact that I'm a candidate for the next election was just simply, that was the advice I was given to go ahead and file in anticipation of something, me not getting this position.
The timing is just going backwards.
It was just unfortunate, but it was the way it was. And so I hope that my filing those papers doesn't in any way tarnish my opportunity for this particular position.
I don't see that happening. It's just the timing and what to do.
I'm going to second my motion on Mary's, Janelle's.
Okay, you are taking a second to
Yeah.
Janelle and electing Larry
Yes.
to be on. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Abstain. Motion carried. Thank you both for coming in and offering to be on, and good luck
Thank you.
next month in the election.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming in, Jane.
You bet.
Good luck, Jane.
Read it all out for us, Mary.
I, Larry Stewart, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Iowa, and that I will faithfully and impartially, to the best of my ability, discharge all duties of the office of City Council Member in the City of Auburn as now or hereafter required by law.
Thank you. Thank you, Larry, and welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
I'm second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Fall Fest. Update on activities and approved projected expenses.
The only real expenses at this point are the advertising that the 125th celebration will be doing for the vendor fair, and they're going to spend their budgets around $200 to $225, which comes out of their proceeds directly. The light bulbs for our CFL giveaway are here. I will be handing those out along with, usually we do the little Echo at Home brochures that y'all get in your Tri-County. I'm going to hand those out this time instead of putting them in the paper and try to get some one-on-one contact with people. Because we have to track who gets the light bulbs, for our grant we have to track this. I've got postcards all done and ready to go in the mail so that everybody in town will get a postcard that they'll need to bring back to me so that I can track who's got them and who doesn't. And then if they don't come to Fall Fest, then after that they can bring them in here to me if I've got bulbs left over and do that. I think everybody's on board. The flyers for the event are ready to go in the mail, the newsletters. We're just on the 23rd of October. If anybody wants to help me hand out light bulbs, I'm taking volunteers.
I'm taking volunteers too for the rec committee.
There you go. She needs more volunteers than I do.
And we need somebody at St. Mary's Church on Saturday to help get tables down to the fire station. on Saturday at 10:30, and then at 8 o'clock to help set them up at the fire station on Sunday.
I can't help with that part, but I can help with yours.
So if anybody has any ideas of who wants to help,
Can we get,
10:30 at St. Mary's on Saturday and 8 o'clock at the fire station, and then 3 o'clock to take them down, or 3:30 or whatever it is.
how many Boy Scouts do we have in town?
None. I don't know. Got Steve and Mary Jensen, or Mary Jensen's kids, and I think Pat Minor was going to ask him.
And I know that Danita's been working on rounding up some
Yeah,
kids too.
we
so
mentioned that to her.
She's the go-to when you want to get a hold of the kids.
Yeah, she is.
Michelle Jacobs' boy is looking for points for that shelter.
Oh, for her
Eagle
Eagle Scout?
I wonder if you could get a hold of
Oh, yeah,
him and see
somebody-
if he can
well,
either do it or get
He's-
some people to do it.
He's helping us out with the fire
Is he?
deal too that day, but he can probably,
I think that name was
Dove up
mentioned
somewhere else.
a while back. Was it mentioned at our meeting that Monday night?
9 judges again.
I'll help some way or the other.
I know about
What?
500 prisoners
I'll
that need
help out some way
exercise.
or the other.
Okay.
Sure do.
I get
Okay.
4 a day, that could use some.
Okay, anything else on the Fall Fest?
Not for me.
Okay. Then do I have a motion to approve the projected expenses?
What'd you say it was gonna be, Nancy?
Between 200 and 225
And then that comes out of their proceeds.
out of their proceeds, right. That's not a taxpayer expenditure, it's just, you guys will see that in your list of bills next month.
I'll make a motion to approve the Fall Fest expenses.
I'll
All in
second.
favor? Sorry. Second.
I'll second it and
All in favor, okay.
Aye.
Energy efficiency rate study?
The rate study is not
Did we
complete.
just vote? Hi. I didn't.
Went really fast.
You're going to have to
Sorry.
slow down. Okay?
Sorry.
Let's take the air out of it a little bit.
Okay.
The rate study is not completed. I was hoping we were going to get there by now, but we haven't. I did have an opportunity to visit with Jonathan Roberts with the IMU, who did our whole town audit work regarding replacing streetlights and what we've got them doing. Jerry's been replacing streetlights and taking them from 400-watt bulbs down to 150s, and nobody's noticed or complained. So we're looking at getting approval to do that throughout the city. It's, I mean, kind of a no-brainer. 150s use a lot less energy than 400s. We're going to be able to do that within our grant money and probably still be looking for other things to do. The other option is to replace the fixture part of it with an LED fixture. However, those are going to run about $500 a piece, plus installation and labor and all that. So that's where we're at. That's what we're working on. They want us to... We appear to be a really strange city because we have all these 400-watt streetlights, and they're looking at replacing everybody else's hundreds, and 50s, and 250s. So we're kind of outside their study, so I'm making them do some extra work. But I'm hoping by next month that we will have some concrete stuff for you guys to look at to make a decision, because we've got $7,500 of the government money that we need to spend, so.
But I read that little article in the municipalities thing about the lights, and that the LED ones are a lot cheaper eventually, right?
They last roughly,
24,000 hours.
yeah.
Would they be able to give us some sort of a breakdown of if we spend this money, how long before we get it back? And
Yes, and that's
so that
what,
we can see
And
down
that's
the
what
line
the-
if we begin to make some money on that.
that's what the Iowa Office of Energy Independence, it's now part of the Iowa Department of Economic Development. This has been a nutso thing, but anyway, that's part of what we have to have documented before we can get an approval from them to spend the money in that way.
Because it's $500 per light, right?
Yeah,
For the cost, other than the labor installation.
And so how many lights would we be talking?
Oh, almost all of them,
But that doesn't give me a number, Nancy.
Say 80 or 90.
Okay.
yeah.
I just wanted a figure in my head.
After the lights all burn out or before?
No, that's for
Before.
replacing it.
Yeah, I know.
Replacement.
Yeah, and I don't know what the labor will cost. I don't, The other thing is, if we get into paying labor on this, we have to pay Davis-Bacon wages. So even if we have Paul Riley do it, we may have to, I don't know what his rate is, we may have to pay him more than what he would normally charge us because the federal government is involved. And that's neither here nor there, and I can't affect that. But that's what we're working on as far as this grant is going. And yes, John, we will bring you logical information to look at to make a decision.
Okay, thank you.
While we're on energy efficiency, it just has to do with our power supply contract. Corn Belt will have something to us by our November meeting to look at. It didn't come in time for this meeting, so.
See you later.
Too many paper clips. Here we go. I'm losing my mind, I'm sorry.
I could help you with that.
I promise.
Double
Find it or
figures
lose it.
tonight?
Does anybody have a sheet of paper that looks like this?
Yep.
Okay, good. That's why I was losing my mind. It's like, I thought I had those here. That's your next subject, Linda, whenever you want to move on to it.
Okay, we're moving on to past the utility accounts.
That is what you have, that's what that spreadsheet is in front of you.
Without giving names.
Right.
And number 505 refuses regular payments and the payment agreement.
Right. That is, and Linda and I discussed this yesterday, that is the only account that I am not feeling good about. The last,
Do they say why?
no.
Well,
I
it says
said,
right there
Where?
what
Below
he
the
plans
refuses.
to do.
yeah,
Oh.
here's his plan by the end of the month. Why, I don't know. I have sent multiple offers to get him on a payment agreement, and for those that aren't aware, the law says that we have to give these people a payment agreement, and when we do that, we have to give them 12 months to spread that delinquent balance out over. However, each month, they have to pay the new bill plus that 1/12 of the old bill. And everybody is working towards getting caught up or in a formal agreement that's working to get caught up. And I've sent this customer several. And the last note I got says that he should get an inheritance by the end of the month, and then he will pay it in full.
But that's still no guarantee that.
That's just verbal.
Right.
So-
I guess my request from you is direction that we allow this to go to the 26th of the month. If I don't have any money on that day, we deliver a shut-off notice and shut him off on the 28th or the 31st or...
I kind of researched a little bit of the electrical payment. When they have to make a payment like you were talking about, the 12 months, okay, if they make 2 payments and then they quit, then you have to start all over again.
Yeah.
But you only have to do that twice,
Right.
and then you can just shut them off.
Well, you have to give
them
them notice, but yeah.
And shut them off
Yeah.
within
You're
24
right.
hours.
Yeah.
I think we need to change, I looked at our ordinance, and I think we need to change our ordinance when that comes up.
This is not an ordinance.
I know it
This is
isn't
an
an
Iowa
ordinance.
Utility
Yeah.
Bill,
I realize
Iowa
that.
Utility Board, so it doesn't need to be in our ordinance.
No, I know that. But I think we could slap harder penalties on these people because they're habitual.
Nancy and
And
I
I-
talked about
and-
we're going to pursue this on a stricter basis.
You know, maybe give
So it
them,
doesn't get to this point.
yeah, and then when they get a hookup fee, make sure they pay a $250 deposit. Plus,
Most of
if
our
they don't have
deposits
any.
are more than that, Cindy.
Yeah, or $50 reconnect fee plus.
Our reconnect fee, once we've disconnected.
25.
Right, and we can change that. We, about 4 or 5 years ago, instituted that door tag fee, where every time we have to deliver a shut-off notice, we charge them $25.
Well, I think you should, on the water, I think these people, I think the water should be shut off.
Yes.
And that's not controlled. We can control that. So I think we should just give them because we have our own water thing.
Right,
So give them a notice and
Right.
disconnect their water.
and their electricity.
Yeah,
Now, we
well,
go into-
even just their water, if they're making a formal arrangement, can't you still disconnect their water?
Not as long as they're paying on
Paying
a
on
regular
it.
basis.
Okay.
Well,
And
you
then the
see-
ones that don't want to pay.
As long as they're making an attempt.
A
And
reasonable
that's
attempt.
always
Right.
been the council's attitude towards this, as long as they're making a reasonable attempt, that bad things happen to good people once in a while, and that's kind of where we're at.
But they milk that.
And, yeah, and we've learned who they are, and I gotta tell you, this is the hardest part of my job. Because, you know, we did disconnects, Jerry delivered disconnect notices Tuesday morning. Each one was a 24-hour notice, but it had a note on it that said the office is going to be closed. You can leave your payment in the drop box, or the office will be open at 8 o'clock Friday morning. You have until 9 o'clock to get your payment in. But at 9:05, we're going to disconnect those who haven't paid. Well, 10 minutes after he disconnected, then I'm getting phone calls and getting yelled at, and people coming in here yelling at me. I've spent the afternoon on the phone at home because same people are yelling at me. So personally, this is really hard for me because I can see the struggles that people have. And council's always supported helping those out that need the help. But when they've taken advantage for too long, then it's time to stop that.
That's ended up with us stuck with utility bills. They move out, then we're stuck.
If council wants to change their position on that, that's why we're talking about it. If council wants to change their position on that and make me the hard blank, okay. But then I need council standing behind me when I do those things.
I don't want Jerry going out after hours or on weekends to reconnect. I want it to be during business hours only. Because it's not right that you have to do it at night or on the weekends. Because if they're delinquent, they have their time, they have to get it in. So,
They get plenty of notice.
yes.
Yeah.
So I'm making it a known fact that, Jerry, you don't have to go out on the weekend and reconnect them. Because they came in on Saturday morning and paid their bill when they were supposed to get it to us by Friday.
It
So,
should be during the week.
yep, during business hours, and
And people that have fuel assistance, yes, you cannot disconnect their electricity during November through March, but you can still disconnect their
water.
water. And we can make them pay, even though they don't pay electricity, let's make them pay the water and their sewer and
And
everything
we
else.
have attempted to do that and done somewhat successfully on that. But what Jerry will tell you, that there's a lot of those water shut-offs in January you can't find
yeah.
and you can't turn. So, I mean, we try that, but if we don't have the mechanism to really shut them off,
Are they just frozen, like Jerry?
Well, the worst thing is, you do not want to screw with the water valve in the wintertime. It just seems like you're digging it.
More temperamental.
How do the other towns do that?
They
then?
do the same thing, but, they got their own back, it's just, sometimes you get by with it, but sometimes it just seems like all of a sudden you snap the thing down
Then you
below.
break it.
So then you gotta try to dig it up in the wintertime, I just hate it in the wintertime, but,
Okay.
if you gotta do it, you gotta do it. It's just, Justin probably vouched for that stuff,
Yeah, they're finicky
yeah,
when it's cold.
screw around with that water in the wintertime when it's cold as heck, and it just, I hate it, but like I said, I'll do it if I have to. Like I said, we've had to dig them up in the wintertime, because they just end up snapping.
But we're gonna try and keep a better handle on not getting to that point with those that are so far behind, so we shouldn't have to dig them up in the winter then.
But like I said, most of the time, in the wintertime, you don't have, you know, you can turn the water off. But like I said, most of those people, the one we normally gotta do, you don't have no problem. I mean, they've been limited about quite a few times, but it's
Some of them haven't been touched in years.
yeah, those
Yeah.
ones that are, you just,
Maybe you should go around and lube them all up before snow flies.
the normal ones, you don't have no problem, but the other ones, when I feel like it's tight, I do not want to go any further because I've had them snap. And then you're
Up a creek without a paddle.
Yeah, I always thought you couldn't turn any electricity off in the winter time, but that's not true either. If they're not on energy efficient, they can turn it. If the next 24 hours are going to be 20 degrees and above, it can be shut off.
If they're not on the low income.
Yeah, right. If they're not on
right,
an energy
right.
efficiency thing.
Right.
Nancy, on account 385 and 415, have they been pretty religious?
Yes,
Good.
yes. And those are payment agreements that are probably 3 to 4 months in.
Okay.
Yeah, they've been good customers once I finally got them on the.
And
on the payment
they
agreement.
should be paid off in a year,
Yes,
right? Okay.
yes. And most of these customers on here are also customers that have large bills every month. I would bet you that if you went in their house, every toilet leaks and every faucet drips. I would just bet you.
Well, there's nothing we can do about that.
No.
Anyone have any other comments regarding the past due utility?
Just maybe you said, Nancy, at what point do you initiate the 12-month contract?
When they have a delinquent bill, then I make an offer of the payment agreement to try to get them to.
How,
Yeah, but how
But,
long?
1 month delinquent?
how quickly
or-
into delinquency?
Yeah.
I would say they usually have 3 months that they owe us. See, and the way the law works, we bill them on the 1st. They have 20 days to pay. At that point, if they don't pay, you have to give them another 12 days.
Okay.
Well, by the time you get to that point, you've got 2 months worth of bill.
Maybe that's when we should start the disconnect notice.
Well, at the end of the 12 days, then you give them the 24-hour notice. Normally, we give a 24-hour notice and they come in and they'll say, I can't pay you all of it, but I can pay you this much and I'll catch it up next month or I'll catch it up in 2 weeks. Part of the issue is I can't babysit these people either when they do those things. So, if you don't want me to allow or accept partial payments, that's maybe something else you need to direct me to do. But
You've been using the 3 months as kind of your figure? Okay.
and it's and as soon as they get to where they can't make those payments or even 1 month it's okay to let them be $50 or $100 short on a $300 bill, but the next month you shouldn't. And then I start working at getting them into a payment agreement. But some of these people, if they're not working and aren't making any money, aren't making those payment agreements anyway. And some of them we've done 2 payment agreements to get them to be faithful. And I will tell you that I do once in a while, the law says I have to give them a 12-month payment agreement, but I do once in a while try to talk them into 6 months and get it taken care of, depending on.
Then at that point, you could always fall back and make it look a little better that you give them.
Well, then when you go,
You know.
if they break that one and you have to do another payment agreement, then you give them the 12-month
Right.
one. But
It may be a little easier.
we really don't do anybody any favors by not being really hard about this, because we just allow them to get in deeper. But I'm sorry, I'm a little soft-hearted on people that I know aren't working and they got kids in the house, and I'm sorry, that's my downfall.
This comment about notes will get inheritance by the end of the month. Specifically, like last day of the month, or just in general?
In
end of the
general.
month?
In fact, I can show you the note if you want to interpret it for yourself. Don't read the backside. we should keep the names out of the deal, so.
This month, just says this month.
This month. So basically, he's talking by last day, I would assume.
So if we cut it
Or
off on the
else could already have
26th.
it.
Well, that's why I recommend sending a disconnect notice about the 26th, and if I don't have a check on the 31st, it goes dark.
Then first and second, we can.
Well, because what happens is on the 1st, they become eligible for the LIHEAP program. I don't think this customer is eligible for the LIHEAP program, but I don't know that.
So do I have a motion to make a recommendation for Nancy to send a letter the 26th?
I make a motion for Nancy to send a letter the 26th to disconnect.
Do I have a second?
And
It's not
disconnect on the
paid.
31st?
Yeah.
A second.
All in favor?
Right.
Motion carried. Next item on the agenda is...
Did everybody vote?
Everybody was a yes.
I did.
Did you want me to kick you under the table?
Oh, I think I'll stay awake, Larry.
Okay. No, I meant when it comes time to vote.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
No.
Yes?
How many
I think that'll be necessary.
How many customers was that for? We were talking about one customer at the moment. We need
Can I just take a time out and say, who's this gentleman? He wasn't here the last meeting.
This
Mine was.
is Curtis Blaze. He has a website called thesacnews.com.
Okay. Thank you. Good meeting you. I didn't know who you were.
As everyone knows, Becky has sold the BJ's, and Dolly will be opening it up, so do I have a motion to approve her liquor license?
So moved.
Yeah, I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion
Right.
carried.
I abstain.
Good idea.
And I didn't vote because I was thinking about Mr. Blade, so but I'd say yes.
Oh, yeah. You know, Cindy, I didn't even think about that. I'm glad you did.
We're gonna get through this, Joe.
John, you're going to keep me on my toes. Update on our community improvement plan.
For John, who doesn't know that we do this, we instituted this years ago as part of the beginning part of our budgeting process. And what we have is kind of an ongoing list of things that the council has identified as projects or things that need done. And each year we begin in October talking
Okay,
about
fine.
adding what to add to this project. And then when we get to budgeting, then we will actually prioritize these projects and try to build them into the budget. This is it.
And these are the list of the projects that,
I was listening to Nancy.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Janelle, I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
no, that's fine. I was just going to tell you that these are the list of the projects that we put priority behind. Of course, we can add and delete whatever we need to. We have completed a lot.
We're still waiting to hear on a dump truck, aren't we?
Yes, we're still waiting to hear about that.
And who's going to drop and go when that comes up?
Now that Dustin's not here.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
because that was a drop and go
Yeah,
thing.
that's a good call.
Okay, I'll explain that. We've got our name on the list with the Iowa DOT for a new snowplow dump truck. I can't say that. And the way the DOT works is when they take these trucks out of service that they offer back to the small communities in the state, they work them through the shop and make sure that everything is as good as it can be before they offer them to us. However, because we're names on a list, when they have trucks available, they may call 3 or 4 cities and say, we have one truck. And when it's time to do that, it's first come, first served to go say, yes, we approve of this truck. And we had Dustin and Jerry were our appointees to do that. Council has already approved the expenditure. If we were to get that call. Now, it may be yet this fall, it may be next spring early when that call comes. But without Dustin here, we need another volunteer from the council, unless you want to just appoint Jerry to approve that.
I think Jerry could be appointed to do that. He knows what to look for in a dump truck, what he wants.
Maybe it's an automatic.
As long as it's an automatic.
Yes. That shifting stuff, plow snow inside.
I hadn't thought about that, but yeah, that would drive me crazy, so.
So if these are state plows, they're gonna be pretty good size then,
No, they're basically the same thing.
right?
They're,
Same as what you have now?
yeah, they're just single axle.
And yeah, and it'll come with a new snow blade on it.
Right on.
Yeah.
Wow.
What happens to the old one?
Then we'll have 2 dump trucks to get rid of. We have one now we could get rid of. But yeah, we'll have to figure out a process to find it a new home.
The dump truck.
Yep,
Jump to them.
yep. So you'll see in the list of priorities for the next year, I do have that dump truck still listed as a priority. Otherwise, I haven't prioritized anything else.
Do you need a motion to authorize Jerry to make that decision for us?
I think you can do that by general consensus of the council. It's not on the agenda, so I don't think we should motion,
Me, yeah.
as long as nobody has any objection.
See, you
My
still got
winter's
the,
gonna last us about 40 years.
Well, the last one's lasted,
30,
yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
and was it used when you got it?
It was used when I got it.
Well, it was used, I think,
City got it,
when the
too.
city bought it originally.
Yeah.
I see you still got the pole replacement by Martin's.
Uh-huh.
Didn't we drop the second piece alongside of it?
Yeah.
And that's still looking okay?
Yeah. So far, the Iowa Utilities people aren't having a fit, so we're good. If we haven't done the project, I haven't taken them off. But we did get the community building inside in the basement taken care of this year.
The countertop fixed.
Countertops are replaced. No, it isn't. They're ignoring both Cleat and I now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, they still haven't been paid though, right?
No.
Right.
Okay.
The outside of this building is, I'm adding to this list for our next budget year, and then we'll spend the winter trying to decide what it is we need to do, want to do. Does anybody else have anything else they want to? I haven't visited with Jerry about any of this, so he and I haven't.
I guess having this on here, has anybody looked really at the street stuff that he's been doing in town?
I just saw the gravel all over and ugh.
Jerry, what's your take
I
on
already
it? Is it
said
gonna
that looks
last
like
through winter?
crap.
Yeah, it does.
It will last through
Just-
winter.
That's what everybody's first opinion is until it's
Needs to run over a few
just
times.
run
Yeah.
a little bit and it smooths out.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
told us
that
it
one
wouldn't
up there.
be pretty when they first
Yeah.
did it.
Yeah.
I
I
went
know.
up there and I kind of messed around and I could get down a little ways and I was like, oh good, I hope it lasts winter.
It'll last there, but as like I said, it just needs to be drove on and,
Pack down.
So why don't you go
So
drive
waste some
on it, go
gas.
back and forth so it don't look so crappy?
Oh, sure.
There's a
And
lot of
somebody's going to be complaining because all Jerry does is drive around town.
time.
You started my street
Smart.
there.
So on this electrical system, do inventory of needs in the rest of town, is this a self-inventory or is this we pay for somebody else to come in and inventory? Down in it's identified as a need, but it's never been taken care of.
Well, we never have really added any real, other than the pole at Martin's, we haven't really added any specific needs. Jerry reviews that and the Iowa Utility Board inspects this every year, and it's just kind of a placeholder, John, to make sure that we talk about it.
Okay, so it's really, every year it's been done.
We talk about it every year, and some years there's little things here and there that get done, but they don't ever actually become a big enough thing that they get on this list. The electric utility is pretty much, if it's broke, we fix it.
Okay,
Except for the big things like burying ball field light lines and that kind of stuff.
And when you were talking about the exterior for this building, you would put that in the needs and then we would decide if it's a priority, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. We had considered a proposal to do some work, you'll remember at our last meeting, but we weren't satisfied with the proposal, and so I think it needs to go back to here and we'll figure it out. It can't wait a long time because it's starting to look kind of shabby, but maybe one of those years where there's other priorities too.
The world's in a budget crisis, so they have to just be shabby for a while.
Well, you know, we manage our money very frugally around here and try to do the best that we can, and we don't face some of the same issues that other places are facing. Anything else? Well, be thinking about it. We'll put it on it'll be on your agenda for next month to drag it out and talk about it again.
There is something
What?
out here that you have to think about that is legal.
You mean this one over here?
No, that one over here.
What
Okay.
needs to be done?
Well, it's rotting.
Ooh.
Well, it's dry, I mean, it's almost 25 years old. It wasn't treated lumber, it's just regular pine wood.
Yeah, it was done in 86, I believe.
Yeah, and some of those, I seen one of the pillars or whatever it is. I was looking at it and it's starting to dry rot. So it is, so the other ones are gonna be better or what. But you got the Centennial coming up. If you wanna look at it, you're gonna have to do something.
Thank you, Jerry. If you guys get an opportunity to walk over there sometime in the daylight, do that.
Yeah.
My dogs and I stopped there, I would agree with you, it needs a little bit of
Yeah, that
improvement.
makes it. In the bottom part of it, you know, the bottom part of the boards, you can see the rot. Not, I mean,
Yeah.
it's been painted, but you know, where you got water down along there, like I said, if it's not been treated lumber, it only just takes so many years, you know.
So if you replace it, what would you do? Just replace the boards with treated lumber? Or what do you suggest?
I don't know, they're all that fancy.
I know Larry cut a lot of that stuff out himself.
Get a professional to look at it. Give us the options.
Either that or you could do that sleeves.
The what?
Sleeves?
Oh, yeah.
The PVC sleeve.
And you never
Plastic,
have
you
to
know.
paint.
Right, and you know, that covers up the wood pretty decent too.
That's a good idea.
I mean, I mean, it's just something to look at. I mean, like, look good for the Centennial, which is what a couple years
PVC.
ago.
Yeah,
Next
a lot of
year.
people
the
use
problem
it.
is if moisture gets in it, then it cracks.
So you're just buying time.
It's not a structural improvement.
Well,
Yeah,
kids
it's
use
bad.
that for like a waiting spot for the bus down there.
This one they used to, but they don't anymore.
Yeah,
because
now
they
it's
pick
house
them
to
up.
house.
House to
Yeah.
house pickup.
Oh,
They used to have concrete
There's
pickup.
too
but not
much
anymore.
fighting going on at the bus stops.
some things never change.
Yep.
Review ordinance on the RV parking.
Oh, I have copies for,
Put this one on, I think. You sent this one out, didn't you?
I did send it out and then I did a little work on it today.
Oh.
The bottom paragraph is a proposal. We aren't going to vote on this tonight, but I kind of wrote something up that maybe you guys could talk about. And this isn't the final wording, and it's not fancy, and I kind of did it kind of fast, and it needs to be thought out a little more, but
Donnie, is that why you're here? Is for,
Not really, I just thought I'd come up and see what's going on.
have you been having any more problems
Oh, I'll stay sitting there, why would I have problems?
on the east side yet?
Yeah, every time I look out of the house, it's there.
Yeah, okay.
It isn't gonna move down, nothing, it is. No, you don't have no problems, because I'm afraid to go over there and talk to him, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
'cause I can't run very good anymore.
Did you get anywhere talking to him?
I honestly haven't had a chance to
Yeah,
get over
okay.
to him with, when
Okay.
he's at work.
And you're against sending a letter?
I'm not against it, no, but I think it'd probably be regarded a little more if it's
Personal.
verbal, yeah. Letter will be. It's a toss probably. I don't know.
And if you go downtown, you go around town and look at all the rest of them are parked over there in front of the places.
Going north of the city, travel on city property.
I didn't say that, I said in front of their places.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's the best way to get out of it.
No.
Well, I don't see any reason why we shouldn't, I guess at this point, update our ordinance. It's not gonna hurt anything.
No. Just like everything, times change,
Yeah.
we need to keep things updated.
If they don't want it in front of their house, they can pay for storage somewhere. I mean, it's their option, it's theirs.
Yes, sir.
Everybody else should
They
have to deal
should-
with it.
You're right, they should not have to look at it
Yep,
in front of their house.
yep.
I look at mine right in front of my house, and I don't care one bit, because it's mine,
Yeah.
my responsibility.
Be stored in a garage. So you're basically saying if I buy a junker and stick it in my garage, I've got to register it even if I'm not going to drive it for 5 or 10 years. And I don't even know if I can buy parts. But as long as you don't have to look at it, it's my problem, not yours. That was what I was looking at.
Right, that's, yeah, there's not an or.
I think we're
Yeah.
looking at
Yep.
this one too specific, because I think there's another place in the code that can address that, I think, John, without,
Says all stored vehicles. We don't get into the RV stuff until we get to clauses 4 and 5.
Did you have is this an exact copy from the ordinance? Yeah.
4 is the exact copy from the
Okay,
ordinance.
5
Okay,
isn't.
5 is the new one
Okay.
that and it just said, it just numbered it 5 automatically, and I didn't, it's a draft, guys.
Yeah.
So,
But
Yeah.
technically, I think he's right, though.
it could be.
Well, one does say it must be currently registered, so if it's not currently registered, you can't have it even in your garage.
Or
If you're following this one to
You
the
could be
letter.
right,
Yeah. so-
Yeah,
Or if you're saying, Nancy, in another place, the ordinance says something different, then
It may, and I
they're a
don't,
conflict.
there could be.
So we probably need to look into that. Maybe, where are you thinking it might be otherwise stated?
There needs to be some ors put in.
Yeah,
Say that again.
there needs to be an or.
Some ors put in, like,
And maybe that's
well,
what
they
we need
meet
to
one
do.
criteria.
I didn't write this ordinance, guys.
No, I'm not,
Yeah.
I know this is perfect.
It takes a certain kind of mind to pick that stuff out.
I guess you could
Yeah.
probably take care of it at the top when it says all stored vehicles must comply with one of the following.
Well, even a stored vehicle is registered as a stored vehicle, correct?
No. If I buy a junker to restore, I'm not gonna register it anywhere.
No, you
until
take it to the courthouse and have them put it in storage at the courthouse.
No,
Not necessarily.
not necessarily, not if it's a project.
I get
in
it
your garage.
retitled.
But shouldn't you know?
I get it retitled, but I
Nobody
don't.
But you don't have to do it right away, is what he's
Right,
saying. If you
right.
want to take it out on the road, then okay. But as long as it's in
As
your,
long as it's in your garage.
You have to retitle it, but you don't have to register it.
because it's not an active vehicle.
registration and title are two different things.
Right.
You just drag it home and hide it.
I really thought you had to you had to go to the courthouse and get a storage registration.
I've never heard of one of those. You have to change
Because
title.
when you take it out of storage, you gotta pay all the back license.
If you have a vehicle that you have on the street that's runnable and you don't want to license it for a year, you can get a storage registration on it.
Yes.
But if you're just rebuilding one, you don't have to register it, you just have to, or title it, you just have to register it.
Yeah.
Other way around.
Title it.
You have to have a title, but you
Title.
don't have to have a registration.
Okay.
And
It's
then when
only
your
if
project
it's
is
on the road.
complete,
You guys know
and
more
you
about
want it
this
on
than
the
me.
road, then you get it registered.
Okay.
That's why he's saying what, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. that's why I think what Justin said by putting must comply, in the first sentence, must comply with one of the following. Would probably take care of it.
You don't even need number one, then you could just get rid of it.
Yeah, you don't need them numbered.
Because but you don't, that first one, you can't really make stick, so you might as well get rid of it, and everything else is probably okay. I mean, if you think it's okay, but the registration issue is not relevant to storage.
But I guess later on, if it's sitting in the city part of of our right of way, it should be registered for insurance factors.
Right.
I mean, I guess when it comes down to where it's in the city parking between pavement line and sidewalk, then it's going to need to be registered.
How about if
You know what I'm saying?
if you said unless it's stored in a garage or other building,
Right.
it would need to be registered and then go on with all of that.
Of course, number 4 is not talking about cars.
Right. It's
Number 4 is talking about trailers, campers, and RVs.
Right, and number 4 is 1, 2, and 3 have been in our ordinance for 100 years. 4 is the one that we added 5 or 6 years ago.
And 5 is just your...
5 is
kind of
my-
a little bit of revamp,
My
right?
revamp of 4.
Okay.
It'll actually become 4. Yeah.
So we can look at those, and we can review the ordinance to see about the registration thing. And this one probably shouldn't be in there, but,
Yeah, we can,
so,
and I can get some advice on that if you'd like me to.
that would be great.
I'd say definitely table it the next one. A little clarification.
But back to the issue of a letter to the property if somebody's not in compliance. Is that what you're thinking of doing?
Well, we're
Evidently
changing
it's-
the ordinance because it's not very clear how it states. They want to change it so to define where the camper's parked in front of the house, not on a side street.
And then you can cite the improved ordinance
Yeah.
if you wrote a letter.
By the time we get to this point of changing this, it'll
There'll
already
be-
be past the November deadline and they'll
will
have it
be.
off the street
But At
anyhow.
least it'll be ready
Right.
for
For next year. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's tabled in until you get some more information.
Because it's almost November 1st anyway.
Right.
But yeah, if we're gonna work on the ordinance, we just will fix all the problems with it.
Yeah.
Next item on the agenda is the electrical, review the ordinance.
Notice you don't have a copy of that?
Yeah.
Justin,
would you like to give him a little update on what the issue is?
What was it, 2 weeks ago? Time frame roughly. Up by the Catholic church up there, there was a house that apparently does not have the funds to connect their electricity, or it lapsed, one of the two. But they ran 3 to 4 extension cords from the north side of the road across the street to this residence.
That's what's going on.
And it caused a lot of concern with kids running around town, cars traveling over it, tractors, everything, so forth, going through town right now. So I told Linda about it and whatever, and they went up there and disconnected the cords. I guess, and you looked at it, Nancy, and there's nothing prohibiting them to hook 2 houses to 1 utility?
And before you get to that point, I had to go over to Jim Moore and tell him to disconnect the one to the south of him, because they came over there and they were disconnected on Friday, and they supposedly had meat in their deep freeze and they want electricity and they wanted Jim to plug them in. And I told Jim we couldn't do it because I didn't feel that was safety. And Jim was okay with it, and they since have moved to Lakeview. But we have nothing in writing.
I guess.
So we need to make an ordinance, you're saying?
Yes.
Right. Basically, I don't know what we can enforce other than the National Electrical Code.
It wouldn't be safe. We can't even have extension cords in the post office.
Right. But that's
With
a
a certain
company
amount,
policy.
yeah.
But, I mean, basically you have to regard what your wires can carry, and things like that, which that one up there by the Catholic Church, 4 cords together, probably 50 foot long, you know, you're talking a couple 100 feet, and they were small cords.
Wow.
So we were running a major fire risk and shock risk and everything else. So I guess you almost have to take it basis by basis for them to be able to argue it. Because at that point, if they say you cannot run extension cords, well then they're going to throw a fit if they see people running extension cords for their Christmas lights, for their,
Oh, yeah.
you know what I mean? It's, you almost have to take it case by case. And then basically just enforce it off National Electrical Code in the state of Iowa, which you have to follow code.
But you said it was stretched across the road?
It was across the roadway. Yeah, and there you run into clearance problems. You're supposed to be 12 foot above the roadway and all this and that.
And it was just flat, just like one of those speed
It was a
deals.
round, orange contractor type cord.
We were paying
Extension
them
cord.
$30 a month.
And no one's living in the other house.
And no one's, there's nobody's living there?
No, they're not there.
Oh, really?
They all moved out? Even Tim Drees?
No, that's the other house that they were getting the
That's
electricity
when they were getting the
from.
power
Oh, yeah,
from to
okay.
the
It
one
was
from
yeah.
the south.
on this end then.
There's got to be an electrical code about repeated vehicles running over your extension
Oh, yeah,
cord.
yeah. Well, it's all about
Right.
damage control, and that you can't have wires across the roadway, period.
Just, yeah.
I mean, it's got to be clearance of 12 feet and blah, blah, blah.
But we have to come up with an ordinance to state that that's fire hazard, that's,
You done any investigating online?
I haven't found another city who has an ordinance.
Would
Although I
you
do have an
some
email from the
county
city
law
of
for the deputy
Guttenberg
able to
today.
just come in and say,
And they say,
It says, I'm glad to see that we're not the only city
Or
with people like
electrical.
that. We had
Would
this
be your
happen.
well,
avenue.
we don't even need an ordinance. I don't think that would be against
Right,
so many state
right.
laws. The fire marshal would be all over
The,
that. The
what I
deputies.
think.
the fire marshal or the electrical inspector for our district
And he
would be able to.
What's our deputy that's going around every morning early say about going over the?
I did talk to the sheriff's office.
Okay, good.
And he was not aware of anything in the traffic code except for if you wanted to classify it as placing debris on the road. It goes back to a safety code in the electric safety code. I did also talk to the people at the Iowa Municipal Utilities and asked some help from them, but I haven't gotten a communication back yet with that help. The city of Guttenberg said they had this happen and they don't have an ordinance that specifically prohibits this either. It was considered an unsafe utility connection. We had one of our utility workers deliver letters to both property owners stating that we would be disconnecting the unsafe connection and that if it persisted, we would disconnect the supplier to avoid potential safety issues.
there you go.
In the case of the supplying property owner was the one that notified them, the city. They looked out their window and noticed a cord running from the garage, but the person borrowing their electric has been known to get physical. And see, that was the other thing the sheriff's office said. If they hooked up to that house without their knowledge,
Yeah,
then
then
you've
it's
got
theft.
theft. Then you can
Right.
press charges. But if they,
I can't believe that's not against county law.
In the last couple of years, they've gotten real sticky about electrical contractors, and they have to be licensed, and they have to have all this crap going, so maybe I can get you a name out of Des Moines to contact, because they'll know what all the rules and regulations are on that.
I had called Chris Harvey, and he hasn't returned my phone call on it. He's supposed to have that code.
I don't know who Chris Harvey is.
He's with the Iowa Fire Marshal and
Oh.
electrical.
Okay.
The electrical.
Yeah, actually, I think the fire marshal's office is the ones that do the inspections for the electrical.
Right, yeah, they're the father branch of
Yeah.
the electrical inspectors.
And the Iowa City League suggested that we put something in writing when somebody comes in to sign up for electricity, that they cannot borrow electricity from the neighbors or any of that.
Or loan.
Yeah. So,
I guess the only thing that we gotta also include in there is, other than an emergency situation, say we have another ice storm. When we're going around with the bus, with the generator, so on, running people's freezers, we're gonna have to make calls for that. So,
well, I think we'll,
Usually in those situations, I'm not sure, I think the mayor can just declare that it's
State of emergency
emergency
and
and
go ahead
we'll
and-
do whatever we have to do to protect our people.
yeah.
That very well could be. So,
We got some clever people right now trying to get their electricity on.
Oh, yeah.
I have a way of paying the bills too.
Wow. Next item on the agenda is the regional informational meeting attendance.
And you have a copy of that in front of you. I would like to encourage someone from the council, if you have the available time, to attend this. I know you guys get after me because I go to too many meetings, but it's how I know what's going on in the industry and what we need to be watching for. And I put it on the agenda so you could discuss whether or not you were going to allow me to go, and if anybody else was going to go, either in my place or with me.
I'd love to go, but I got my electrical master's test that day.
Your what?
Electrical master's test
Ah.
that day.
Cool. And the nearest one is in Denison on November 1st.
It's November 1st, following.
Tuesday. Yeah.
What was that last name?
It's 1 to 3:30. It's on there somewhere.
Frederickstown.
And there are other dates and locations if you were going to be in another place and wanted to attend. There is no cost for the meeting, it just costs to get there and back.
And do these go in the winter too, or is this? Yes.
This is like a one-time thing they do every year, I think. I'm not aware, in fact, I'm not even sure they do it every year.
And what's the deadline? 24?
24.
Well, I okay Nancy to go. And it's hard for the rest of us to go during the week, during the day, to get off work.
You mean to make an motion?
Do I have to make a motion?
Not as long as everybody
Yeah.
agrees with you. If there's dissent, then
Okay.
I mean, I
if
think
anybody wants to go with me, we can get you signed up.
Tentatively, I'll see what I can do.
It'll be, I think, really interesting because there's a lot of things going to be coming up in the legislature in January. And we're about to renew a power supply contract and go to work on that, and they're going to talk about transmission issues and things like that. So, I mean, you don't wake up in the morning knowing how to run an electric utility and get a power supply contract. So the more we know, the better we are.
Okay, next item on the agenda, Jerry.
Public left.
they left.
I get tired of it.
It's their turn to talk, and they decided.
Justin, if you're,
I would
it's
like to set up, put
7:18.
steel posts around that
If you're in a hurry.
light down at Sparky's.
I can be here till about
You want
Say
to
that
put two
again?
poles around the Sparky's light?
Yeah, because they're
Or-
backing into it. The light, it ain't Sparky's light, down at Sparky's corner of the city's light.
Street
They're
light.
hitting it.
The street light?
Yeah, you know, $40 a pop for a light bulb.
Okay. So you do what, bury a concrete?
No, I'm gonna put two steel posts up so they can hit them instead of the pole.
Is it cars or is it semis or do you not? know?
Cars.
Cars.
Yeah.
They pull in the
Cars will
middle.
take a T-post better.
Sure. Do what you gotta do.
Protect the light.
Yeah.
And down here at the main city shop door, I can see through the overhead door. The door that's put in here is just one stage above no insulated door. I mean, in the wintertime, you can actually see through the slots. And it's only an inch thick. and the springs are broke already. So we got an expense, I've gotta put the springs in, but can I put a decent door in? Or you want me to,
What's our shop expense?
Wouldn't that fall under the, a grant, you know, for,
Is that the overhead door, like a garage door?
yeah.
That could be a need on the community improvement.
Well, he has a shop expense,
Yeah, we have a shop.
Oh,
so we'll see what we got in there. And
Big is that door, Jerry?
Is that a 14?
No, 16 by 12, or, you know.
12
Oh, it's a
you
smaller
mentioned that we
door?
have a budget.
12 wide,
We have
16
a budget
high?
For that.
No, a smaller door, they ain't very small.
Is that 12 wide, 16 high?
pardon me?
Do we have
Well,
money?
the other way
The
around.
other way around.
She's looking.
Six-
Wide
12 by
door,
16,
wide
okay.
door.
Okay.
she probably
That'll be
sent
for
you that
spending
email
more.
too,
And it's only an inch thick,
what everyone's,
instead of the
Yeah, I
3
know.
inch
I didn't get
thick
through
that you
everything.
should have.
Yeah.
Kind of
In
sending
the
everybody else
wintertime,
emails.
actually, there's heat going out of that thing. You open up the overhead door, you hurry up and move around that corner quick because the water just runs because it's frost. It's
Wow.
Saves you coffee money, wakes you up.
Our total shop budget, guys, is $20,000.
How much has been spent?
Less than about 1,000.
And what would a door cost?
I just called Rita and asked her, and they said a rough, you know, the door to put the same door back in is 15, and a good door is like 25. And that's
100.
100.
yeah.
Who is that, All Pro?
No, it's
Rita.
Midland is what
Oh, okay.
Who would install it then, Jerry, if you got it from Rita?
I guess you're looking at the guy you're talking to. I just have to get somebody to kind of help me. It's kind of a two-man job.
Yeah, 16-foot wide doors.
I can hold your wrenches.
I can hold the wrenches.
So could we make a motion to get the door? Use the
Yeah.
money? I would move that we get a new door.
It's not on the agenda.
No.
So
If you want to have him use his discretion with his shop budget, you can do that, but no motion.
let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
Why don't we let you use your discretion if you need a door?
Yeah, it's, like I said, in the winter, I mean, the colder it gets, you turn the light off and you can see light through every panel.
With the cost of heating that
Yeah.
any place,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it'd be a good idea.
Be a recovery effort.
Yes, we need a good door.
anything else, Jerry?
Well, that was the three things, that gazebo thing over there, and I brought that up in that thing there. Like I said, we're gonna do some of that gazebo work for that centennial, we're gonna have it, you know, look at.
Well, if it's getting rotten, it's probably a safety issue too.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the whole thing, but it's just, you know,
Couple columns.
yeah, whatever it is.
Last time I looked over there was a couple years ago and it was rotten then.
You know, it's getting a little bit more worse wise, you know.
And it's being used a lot more, so.
Want somebody getting hurt.
Okay, Nancy?
Our community service day where we're gonna have 69 students from the Esac County School come and rake yards for our elderly. And Larry, if you could have someone from your church get me a list of people in your church that could use their yard raked, I would love to have that. Is Thursday,
Yes, I can.
October 27th, with the rain date of the 28th. Our issue, and that was the other thing I was going to talk to you, Jerry, about, and we can hash it out. Our issue is if we have 69 kids raking 30 yards, how do we haul the leaves?
New dump
We
truck.
still have two dump trucks.
One that runs.
The dump truck.
So that's a hurdle that we're going to have to kind of figure out a way to cross.
I'll have to use my trailer. There ain't no way kids are gonna throw leaves clear up.
Right.
Well, and are we going to buy a supply of garbage bags for them? I mean, that seems like
That's
like a
a
real waste.
What
But
about
with,
pickups and just see if we could get pickups and
I guess maybe I'm gonna need some volunteers for that day to help with some of that, because Jerry's only one guy.
27th and 28th, what day, is that a weekend? Or
It's a
is it
Thursday.
Thursday.
It's a Thursday.
I'll have to see if Larry
They'll be here about 12:30 and out of here by 2:30.
We'll see what Larry can do.
Did they bring in rakes?
Yes,
I mean, there's a lot.
yes, they're
Who's your
all,
contact person up there?
Sally Nellis.
Okay. Yeah, Wade, whatever.
Yeah. I about choked when she said what they wanted to do, but when she said that they would, East Sac County,
County, junior high.
yeah, when she said that they would rake for private individuals, I thought, well, why not get them to come and do this?
Huh?
Isn't this a character counts thing?
Yeah, probably.
So, anyway, that's what day that is.
Nancy, can I take you back to something? When you asked Larry for information from
27th and
his church, have you already gotten information from the Catholic and Presbyterian?
I have it from the Catholic, and I haven't made contact from the Presbyterian. Do you want to help me with that?
Yeah.
Now that you bring that up.
Well, I can do it, or you can just simply contact Jim or Lorena. They'd have probably the best beat on that.
And I usually see Jim and Lorena every once in a while, and I hadn't gotten a real worry about it. And I've added a couple myself of ladies that I know that need a little help, so
So are you going to
I'll take care of
just,
it.
okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll
because
take care of it.
otherwise I can bring it up in church and it's like a concern and we can see what people say, but we never have the same people from week to week.
You might do that anyway. You might
Yeah.
mention that we could use some people with pickups to help haul leaves. If somebody from the church wanted to do that, Jim and Lorena will probably be good volunteers for that too, so. IAM Wind meeting is, I don't know where they're at right now, but they're trying to work on the sale of that project. The next meeting is also the 27th of October, and that one I keep saying this every month, that one could be a meeting in Ankeny. If I have to be gone that day, I'm gonna really be looking for volunteers to help coordinate all this, but there's a chance that the proposed sale will be on the agenda that day, so that may or may not happen. The only other thing I have before I shut up is I have a letter. It says, Dear Mayor Beidler, Auburn City Council, and City of Auburn, on behalf of the City of Laurelville, we would like to congratulate you on being named an all-star community by the Iowa League of Cities. This is a great honor for a town to receive the award. As one drives through your town, it is obvious to see why you were given this honor. It takes real dedication from an entire city to accomplish all of the work that you have done. The improvements to your city will make a lasting impression for years to come. Best wishes to your city for your continued success, and it is signed by the mayor and all the council members of the City of Laurelville.
Awesome.
And you'll see the award is there.
Right here.
And before you go, I want to show you the video that they played at the awards banquet. And I really wish you all would have went, because this was way cool. Poor little Auburn with 322 people was against towns of 3,000, and I sat at the table with the mayor from Ankeny, Urbandale, West Des Moines, and the award winner guy from Dubuque. And people hugged me afterwards.
Awesome.
People that I don't have a clue who they were come and talk to me and congratulated me. How did you get this done? What did you do? How'd you start? I was there probably an hour afterwards answering people's questions, and you guys would have thought this was way cool. So thank you for the opportunity to let me go and accept the award. But I want to show you the video before you go. So.
And you have also gotten other emails too from people, haven't you, that have drove through town and
Oh, yeah.
have complimented.
Always. And every time I go to a
Complimented us
meeting,
on it.
I
I
get
get
a lot of them, and
compliments.
people
and-
driving
Yeah.
through.
Yeah.
Why don't you
Stop
get
in.
this framed and mounted someplace here? Just like for display. It's very nice. This would be nice for the city to see.
Yeah. Maybe I'll have to make a copy of that for the next newsletter.
You know,
Since this month's is already done,
Right.
because of the timing, I had to get it done, so. Don't leave without watching the video. It's only 3 minutes.
We have nothing on the solid waste board. How about the Sac County Emergency Board?
Meeting next Tuesday,
Are we still under a burn ban?
as far as I'm aware.
oh, pardon me.
Okay. Anything on the 125th celebration?
No, but I think we didn't talk about it the other night. We just talked about this thing.
Okay. Fire department?
Yeah. We had a meeting last night, and we're looking at, Arcadia is getting a new quick attack unit, grass fire truck. We're looking at possibly buying their old one for roughly $3,000, and that would be out of the association. We were wondering if it would be possible to have Nancy write us a grant for an addition onto the station to put this truck in, because we are out of room. If we were to get it.
Where
Yeah,
where would you put the?
Where would the addition
Yeah.
be?
on the west side, by the alley.
And that would allow enough room for a vehicle?
Yeah.
Would it be pretty close to the alley, wouldn't it?
You wouldn't have very much visual access from the
Single
alley.
bay on the west end.
Right.
You what?
Yeah. It'd just be like a single bay. And what we would probably do is move the medical vehicle into there and put all the fire trucks in the firehouse because of the heat situation. The medical vehicle doesn't necessarily need to be in a heated garage.
What's in, oh, let's see.
Because as we sit right now, we got our 4 bays. Right here's our Tahoe. Right here, going this way, is the old pumper. Here's the tanker. There's the new pumper. And there's the bus. And we're looking at,
Right, and then this would be the cold storage.
back here's the cold storage right
Yeah,
now.
behind.
Going back to the medical vehicle,
That we have the
should it be
antique
in a
truck.
place where it can freeze? I mean, it will be carrying things that might be unaffected.
We don't have any liquids in there other than saline.
Okay. And nothing else that's going to be, that the EMTs think would be tampered with by the cold?
I guess the only thing that may is the automatic defibrillator with the batteries.
So you called medical vehicle, you talked about the bus, and you
Right.
talked about the tanker, and this is a new one, and this is a Tahoe. So where's
No,
the medical vehicle?
The Tahoe is a medical vehicle.
Oh, okay, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, then that
Okay.
sits right here. The old pumper kind of sits at an angle to get
Okay.
in there. And then the tanker, the new pumper, and the bus, which we're also exploring replacing.
Okay.
Because one of these fires, it's not going to make it. It's in dire need of severe attention.
Which one does all the pop and backfire in the
That'd be the
bus?
bus.
That's the bus.
We've been looking for something used, and we are having a hard time finding anything used set up that's not in the same
I
shape that
died
we're
one
in.
day when that went off.
I'm still stuck on this one, I'm slow. EMTs, do they have like equipment bags they keep in the heated
Right.
garage?
Yeah.
And then they pick those up and go in the Tahoe?
No, they are in the Tahoe already.
So they'll still be in the Tahoe?
Right.
Okay.
What we were thinking of doing was create a grill, basically, great to still allow heat in there, but not be a fully heated bay, I guess.
Were any of the EMTs present at your meeting last night?
Yes.
Were they okay with that?
Yep.
Okay.
Because we've had a lot of problems this year with that. Old pumper is probably not going to last us a long, long time because we can't get anything for it, and it's not. Basically, we're at the point where we're going to have to pull the motor on the old pumper to fix the transmission. Also, we have a throw-out bearing that's squealing like a stuck pig when we're pumping water, and it's just a matter of time there before that one's not usable.
Yeah, I wasn't disputing that so much, I was just
Right,
concerned
right.
about the medical vehicle and the equipment
And
inside.
at that point, I guess that would free up this if when and if that dies. But that currently, that is the only truck that we can, what we call pump and roll, which basically is pumping water while we're moving.
Yeah.
The rest of them are all stationary pump vehicles.
Did you get rid of the old quick attack truck, or you still got it?
Yeah, that old Dodge is gone. It was worse than anything else we have.
Okay.
And what's in the cold storage?
The antique.
So if we found a place for the antique truck, then that would free up a stall?
Mm-mm.
No?
No, it's in the cold storage.
Right, you have absolutely no
That's it.
insulation there.
Cold
We could-
storage is only 10 foot wide, it's got a little small door on the back, as I recall.
Yeah, no electric roll up or anything.
So the Tahoe or nothing would fit back there?
It would fit, but basically we want to cut a grate in between to still allow heat into that bay. So it's not bitter cold, but back here we cannot because nothing's insulated, it's tin and wood. And that's it, it's just a shell. So, I mean, it's nothing that we have to decide tonight, it's just something that we're looking into. It'll probably be February before we ever got this quick attack, because they're getting a new one.
Are there grants available?
We were wondering if it would qualify under the SAC block grant that they hand out.
The Endowment Foundation?
Yeah,
Maybe.
and that one's a 50% match from city.
50% match from somebody.
Yeah.
Is that an
However-
ongoing one, Nancy, or is there a
Pardon?
deadline? Is that, do they have a deadline on that one, or
Yes,
is
the
it?
deadline for that is December 1,
Okay.
if you're gonna make this year's grant round.
What about that Renzi Foundation? Is that, what kind of a grant is that? What does that have to be from?
They just kind of make an announcement of when they're having a grant round, and I don't know the details
Okay.
on that. I can't
Okay.
answer you.
They just had one in, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we just
so
did
I
one
wonder
this
if they- how
spring.
often they do it.
Like in June, I think we did.
It's once a year,
Oh,
right?
that's what I was thinking.
And there may be something through Homeland Security, but I think that would be a big stretch.
That, and I think FEMA's pretty well dried up.
Yeah, I think the
It's-
chances of getting
Homeland
out of,
Security is
but,
dried up
I
too.
mean,
right
it
now.
doesn't take that much more to write a grant, but
Right.
what you have to have is specific plans that have been approved by the council and specific cost estimates.
Okay.
I can't do anything, even with the Endowment Foundation grant, without huge specifics.
Okay. Okay.
And I think that one is
And
gonna be
I'll maybe have
a stretch.
Randy Booth get a hold of you on
Yeah.
what they're all going to need on that, because they just wanted me to bring it to your attention that we were thinking towards this. So,
I mean, if council's willing to devote my time, I guess I'm willing, but council has to also approve the project
Right.
before you can apply for that grant.
Where would the door be on the garage, on that one that's on the west side
it
there,
would also be to the south.
facing south?
And then we could, at that point, we could also switch around vehicles at that point. And basically, this quick attack we need for fall. I mean, this fall was absolutely crazy for us. I want to say we had upwards around 20 fires for sure in the fields. And we could always switch around in wintertime, move the Tahoe back into the heated bay and drain that truck and put it out in, you know what I mean? It's,
Gonna ruin Martin's view of the road, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, well, can't even give that a thought. Yep. I'll block it in a little bit tighter.
There's no place else to go.
no. But only other thing, I guess, we have a little notch out back here on the, I guess it'd be the north side of our meeting room. That
That's what
kind
I was trying to get at before.
You mean over by
but-
Nathan's?
yeah.
Yeah, I wondered about that. I'd have to look at it, to see
But
if it
isn't
was
that
big
where all the
enough.
electrical stuff is?
That could be
That
inside.
could all
Yeah,
be
that could all be
moved.
put inside, you know, it's all conduit to it, so if you ever have service.
You'd have to redo the sidewalks.
Yeah, that's what I was
That's
thinking.
where
I'd
you're
screw
gonna
it
run
all up.
into,
You
and,
won't have the parking.
Will
Yeah.
Nathan's building ever be coming up for?
You're better off going where.
yeah, it's
Someday.
in the process now, they're working on the house sale right now.
Did somebody buy it yet?
No, they just got it assessed at 85,000, so.
Wow.
I talked to the banker yesterday,
Well,
so.
if Jerry does really well on the door on the garage and the shed, he can come over and help with that one. He used to be the pro around here.
But they just wanted me to bring it to your attention that we were thinking this way, and if you want me to get some specifics, I can sure do that and see what we're thinking cost-wise and stuff, and,
You probably better get some more information for us.
okay.
And then maybe, have you done a block grant with them before? With Sac County, or the one that we're talking about?
Oh,
Yeah, we received several for the
I mean,
library and the
yeah.
museum
Okay.
and things like that.
So we have the guidelines on, yeah, okay.
And she's the president.
Yeah.
Oh, not of that group.
Oh,
I'm not the foundation president.
you're on the group.
I'm in the group, yeah.
Yes, you
What
remember.
does Shirley Phillips do now these days?
SCTD.
Yeah, she's the president of the foundation.
Economic.
Okay.
And the, yeah.
Okay, rec committee?
Nothing new, just working on the Fall Fest.
Library board,
I have nothing.
historical.
They're having a bake sale, aren't they, at the,
For the 100.
are they asking for baked goods, or, I haven't seen anything on it.
Don't you read the newsletter?
Send
Yeah.
the newsletter.
Yes,
They're
I did.
asking-
You know what, and I just looked at it tonight.
They are, because they asked Corinne to put it in our church bulletin.
Yeah, I just spaced it off. I was looking through the shit tonight.
Meeting's starting to get long, isn't it, Cindy?
Yeah.
Okay, does council have any other issues or comments?
I do. I received this anonymous note in the mail that I just wanted to make the council aware of. In regards to Jane Bardo, this come from a concerned citizen about her running.
Janelle, the Carroll paper said that Jane Bardo is running as a challenger in the Auburn City Council race. A person must vote where they live. Jane Bardo lives at 443 East Pleasant Road, Ridge Road, Carroll, Iowa 51401. Avoid fraud. A Carroll paper reader. Thank you.
I have called Jane about it and told her that I received it in the mail, and she has reassured me that she has done everything as far as changing her
Yeah, she's established
address
residence here.
and got her voters changed to Sac County, and has gotten even her car license and everything changed to Sac County.
Okay.
So she reassures me that this has all been taken care of. But anyway, I just wanted everybody to know that there are people out there that are concerned, obviously.
I thought maybe I'd recognize the writing, but I don't recognize the writing.
I don't either. I mean,
I
It's
see a lot of writing,
postmarked
but I don't
Arcadia.
recognize it at all.
so I don't know who did it, but, you know, and like Jane said too, she's sure she has a lot of enemies out there, and, but, you know, let bygones be bygones, so. Anyway, I just wanted you guys to be aware of it, that there are people out there that were concerned by her taking the position as running for council. So. Anything else?
Okay, anyone else?
Nope.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
You got that one.